What's up, everyone?
Hello, welcome to another 5K tennis discussion. Today is October 28th.
I think it is the 28th, Carla.
Maybe.
So here we are in kind of a new temporary, well, I say temporary, it may be this setup for quite a while, but we're going to push ahead with the 5K tennis show either way. And I think, yes, I know today's Monday, but I'm unsure. I think you were right at the 28th, fairly certain. So real quick, an injury update. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this on this video. I did a video earlier while Carlo was out teaching both of our lessons solo. By the way, how did that go?
That's fine. That went fine.
So I did a separate video this morning on the injury update, and we did a video a day and a half ago on how this happened. So if you're wondering how I blew out my leg, it was on a tennis court, but if you want to know the ins and outs and where we're at with it, I created a separate playlist for my patellar tendon rupture and my fractured wrist. There's ways you can contribute there, and I'll keep it going there to not bore anybody that's not really kind of involved in the injury. So check out the playlist that I created today, and there should be a couple videos in there for it. Real quickly, a huge shout out to some of you that have contributed to the MRI that I scheduled for tomorrow at 11:25. Wildlife 1, Karen Kavanaugh, Dave Rains, Dominic Carlucci, Ruth Guru, and Tennis Fan out there. Again, thanks so much to you guys. You've enabled my MRI to occur. So check out the updates on the injury on the separate playlist. All right, so let's jump right into the show. I did some writing this morning to keep my head out of the dirt. So
I'm no clue what you wrote.
Yeah, Carla's blind to this. So the interesting thing about this setup, I'm not in my stringing room, but we do have the Paris Open going on right now on the screen in front of me. And I see beautiful beard Pierre, the flag collar man himself.
That's not a beautiful beard, though.
It's a big old beard.
That's not. I didn't realize how weird his forehand was.
So we'll talk a little bit about the Paris Open, but let's jump right into some topics that I jotted down this morning, kind of getting my head out of the gray haze of depression with this injury. So topic number 1, Roger Federer won his 10th straight Basel title. He also has 10 straight, what's the tournament right before, Halle in Germany on grass as well. So the topic for this is how impressive is this feat to win 10 straight tournaments this time of the year in Basel. How impressive is it, Carla?
He did beat Sisyphus, but I mean, I don't think too many like super high-ranked players join those tournaments. Still, 10 and 10, that's a lot. That's a lot of titles, but it's a 500, right? It's an ATP 500. I mean, it's impressive, kind of, I would say. It is his tournament. I think it's tailored to him, just like how it's tailored to him.
Well,
I'm not. I don't want to say anything bad. I guess it's impressive.
For me, I think it's highly impressive. Not just because I'm an arduous Federer fan. By the way, next year I will be on 100% Djokovic bandwagon. I think Federer should go ahead and step away at this point. He's playing great tennis, but and I won't get into that on this show. It's another story for another day. But I would like to see Djokovic next year get a lot closer to that 20, and I think he can win 3 of the 4 majors next year. But back to Roger Federer. At any ATP 500 or even 250, to win 10 straight is incredible. Why?
Sure.
Because that means you haven't lost a match. And when you win, say, what is it, probably 24, 26 straight matches he's probably won there, to never have one bad day at the office and 10 straight years is quite impressive.
So he won it 10 straight years.
Well, I don't know about 10 straight.
I don't think he won it 10 straight years. I think he's won it 10 times.
Well, okay, neither here nor there. He's won a tournament 10 times in a row without having one bad day at the office. Now look at Nadal. He's won, 11 French Opens or 12 French Opens?
That's a lot more impressive.
3 out of 5 sets.
That's a lot more impressive. That's a Grand Slam.
So, what you said though, yes, it is the end of the year. And I understand that.
How open is not at the end of the year?
How that fire alarm up there, we got to get a battery for. If you hear a constant ding in the back, it's because we need a 9-volt battery for our fire alarm. So sorry about that. But it is the end of the year, so I don't want to sound like a hypocrite because since the U.S. Open, I've indicated that these matches don't really matter that much. So I don't want to sound hypocritical But for 10 years to not have a bad, or for anyone to win 10 tournaments, that means in those 10 tournaments for 10 years, whenever they were won, they haven't had a bad day at the office. So I think that's quite incredible. Why is it that Halle, Germany, and Basel, the Swiss Indoor Open, why is it that Federer has won 10 of each? Is it because of it's the end of the year? Well, how isn't it? Is it because Tommy Haas comes out of retirement and basically somehow makes the final every year of Halle?
No.
Maybe so. But how does Roger Federer play his game? He loves fast courts. The courts are always fast in Halle. The courts are fast here in the Basel indoors. You don't have any weather issues. It's an indoor court. Being on home turf in Basel has to help.
He played Alex de Minaur in the final.
He played de Minaur in the final. He was supposed to.
That was a pretty
lopsided
match. I think Wawrinka pulled out of that.
Yeah, Wawrinka pulled out because of his long match with, what was it, Tiafoe?
It wouldn't have mattered either way.
And then he beat Tsitsipas straightforward 6-4, 6-4. Now, one could make the argument that there wasn't much of Tsitsipas left after his long year.
Yeah. I would have to agree with that argument, definitely. I'm sure that Tsitsipas has put a lot into his body and is probably tired. And it is the end of the year. I think Federer plays this tournament because he's comfortable here. They tailor it to him. He knows Djokovic nor Nadal will play this tournament. Reason why I think he pulled out of Paris Open. Why try to face those guys? There's no need.
Yeah, him pulling out, that's a no-brainer. Again, like we said in our last show that we did, I don't know how much Novak Djokovic will even put into Paris. I know he wants the number one ranking. I get that. However, is the number one ranking going to make or break him next year? I don't think so. I think he'll be just fine. I think the body is absolutely crucial to take care of at this point.
I'm even shocked.
Look at me, right?
I'm shocked Nadal's even playing after he just got married a couple weeks ago. I'm pretty shocked that he's even playing it.
So moving forward to the next subject, though, and you just mentioned Nadal. Again, the longest or the most impressive tournament continuum win is Nadal's 12 French Opens, right?
Yes.
Now, that's incredible. We can talk about Federer's 10 at Basel and 10 at Halle.
Doesn't Djokovic have 8 Australian Opens?
He has 8 Australian Opens, and we're going to talk about that in one of my quick topics. So because of my leg issue, if I lead it up too long without getting up on my crutches to let some blood flow back, it gets relatively painful just sitting here. So comment below on that. Is it a big deal that Roger Federer won his 10th Basel title? Is it a big deal that he's won Halle? Or are these pretty much predictable given the surface and the time of year of both tournaments?
Well, I think for him it's important because I think he's trying to pass Jimmy Connors in titles.
Yeah, I mean,
he likes to break records.
Yeah,
he wants to create records.
That's important for him. That's a good point too.
Yeah.
So I didn't think about that when you're right. He does have one left to break with Jimmy's 110, I think. 110 tournament wins. Sure. He has 103.
Yeah.
All right. Quick topic number 2. Comment on that below. Again, I'm shacked up in the chair, so I'm here. Usually Carla does all the communication back and forth, but we're going to kind of shorten up these nuggets in a way, and I can comment, and Carla can comment when she's not grinding it out, which she has been doing relentlessly for the past 6 days. Topic number 2. Dominic Thiem wins his first Vienna tournament. Again, this is his home turf. And also, not only did he win the tournament, but Dominic Thiem has stated that he plans to win the French Open this year, or this upcoming year in 2020. What are your thoughts, Carla, and all of you on Dominic Thiem making true to his statement that he plans or hopes to win the French Open this year? Can it happen?
I think he better keep hoping, because I just don't see it happening. I mean, I think by next year at the French Open, we'll see probably somebody different besides Thiem. I think we'll still see Nadal there. I think Djokovic has a better chance, or Federer has a better chance of winning the French Open before Thiem, in my opinion. Medvedev's play game is not as good as Thiem.
There's a lot of players that are developing, I think, at this point in time. However, with that said...
and good for him for winning a tournament. That's good for his confidence. That's what, 2?
Yeah, well, and good for him and his country to win win on his home turf. That has to be a wonderful thing for his confidence, for his fans, for his home base. Gives his home base something to look forward to next year, in a way, more so for him coming back and maybe to repeat that title. So I think that's a pretty good thing for Thiem. Alas, in my opinion, the only way that Dominic Thiem will win the French Open in 2020 is if Rafael Nadal loses before they meet. Or if Rafael Nadal begins to show some age or begins to show a little wear and tear on the body next year. I mean, I've said this for a couple of years now.
I think these guys are smart. They're smart enough not to play too much tennis. The top 30, they're smart to pick their tournaments and know where they're going to win. So I think that Nadal has a great chance of winning the French Open again, just like he did last year.
So 13 French Opens?
Could be. Who knows?
And catch Roger Federer's 20, because I do not think Federer will win another major.
Is he at 19?
He's at 19.
Could happen. Never know.
All right, question. So does Nadal tie Roger Federer next year at the French, if assuming Roger Federer does not win another major?
I think he'll definitely tie by winning the French Open. It's his best shot, I think, of getting another Grand Slam. Do I think he's going to pass it? Probably not.
Okay, so I doubt that Thiem wins the French. However, comment on this. Here's a question, and I'll ask Carla this question. What does Dominic Thiem need to do to dethrone Nadal if he is going to win it? What can he do to have a better chance?
He has to win rapidly. First 3 sets. First 2 sets, win it, and just close it out. There's no way with Nadal that you can go 5 sets and win a Grand Slam against him. Too many rallies goes in Nadal's favor.
I have a couple nuggets I wrote down on what he could do to have a better shot. Again, he's made some finals, so my theory here, or these nuggets, is what Thiem would need to do if he made another final and met Nadal to have a chance of actually finally winning. Number one, he needs Nadal to lose before he meets him in the final. I know I've said that before. I don't mean that to be comical, but it's true. It would be really nice for Thiem if Nadal would lose before the final. If not, though, and they meet in the final, I think Dominic Thiem needs to clean up his backhand side in terms of prepare it for long rallies, prepare it to be an offensive weapon. A lot of times he'll jump up and hit the one-hander. A lot of times he'll err. He's prone to err on that side during long rallies. And Nadal, again, the heavy topspin going to his backhand. That was one of the downfalls of Federer playing Nadal. And Nadal knows this. He's going to hit heavy topspin, inside out, backhands. He's going to hit them high to Thiem's backhand, and unless he finds a way to consistently counter that, it's going to be a tough road. It's going to be a tough road for Thiem.
I mean, the key is not to grind with Nadal. If you're going to play him in clay, you really want the points to be shorter. I think the only guy that can really grind with him on clay is Djokovic, and still hasn't been as successful, but more successful than others.
Well, easier said than done to shorten up points on clay, because clay adds bite to the ball, makes the ball sit up a little bit more. So it's tougher to shorten up the points on clay as it is on other fast surfaces.
Sure. Which is why I don't enjoy playing on clay.
And
I don't enjoy it.
I've had some other injuries, yeah.
Although that my dad said as you get older, clay is much better on your body.
I've blown out 2 ankles younger in life on clay, so I have kind of a little bit of a phobia of playing at a high level on clay. At least that's just me. The last thing for Thiem, he needs to train rigorously, safely, but rigorously.
He does already. I've seen a lot of videos on him, and he is pretty intense.
Well, let me clarify that. Let me clarify this. Just like you said, I thought it when I was writing this. Thiem cannot find himself in a position in the 5th set with Nadal if it happens again this year, because fitness tends to fade away. He needs to work with a team that can prepare him for a 5-hour match against Nadal on clay and be able to do that routinely. So,
I don't even think it's physical, honestly.
Mental?
I think it's mental. Physically, the guy is strong. He's in shape. He mentally, in that French Open, he was done. He played Djokovic before then. That's tough to do. You're playing Djokovic and then you're going to play Nadal. Very tough to do.
Yeah, and again, it's hard with the style of play that Thiem has. You know, kind of a big hitting cannons type performer to get onto clay and to carry that up. So there has to be a little bit of change there, and a comfortable change that he can take into the 5th set, right?
Yeah.
All right, so comment on that below. What does Thiem need to do to win the French Open this year, honestly? Okay, what does he need to do? What can he do? And how can he get there? Topic number 3, my girl, Aryna Sabalenka, won the Elite Trophy.
Sorry, I have to laugh.
Won the Elite Trophy.
Sorry, Wildlife One. I know you like her too.
All of you guys have just drilled me for liking Aryna Sabalenka over the years.
And we should still drill you on this.
Okay, well, let me get this topic out.
It just doesn't matter. Just doesn't matter.
All right, I'm going to get the topic out, and then we'll discuss it. So, Aryna Sabalenka, who last year, or it wasn't last year, it was earlier this year.
Right.
I kind of shot from the hip, and I said something on one of the shows that I thought that Aryna Sabalenka would win a major before Naomi Osaka won her next major. So my question here is, has this strong Asian swing run that Sabalenka has now completed, does this better her chances next year of winning a major, number one? And two, does anyone think that I am still dead wrong, or does anyone think that I am right, that they think that Sabalenka will win a major before Naomi Osaka wins her next?
I think Naomi Osaka's on a roll. She's won 2 tournaments in the Asian swing, like you call it. She's currently playing the finals, right? The women's, where is it? Shenzhen? Where is it?
Yeah, and Shenzhen. And
I'm sorry, but she looks solid. Sabalenka beat a Kiki Bertens, who has no mental toughness, who goes away pretty quickly.
And a kind of weird serve.
Has no serve, can lose to anybody. To me, this means nothing at the end of the year. I definitely do not give her a better chance than Osaka. Most definitely not. She has some tough competition. You have Andreescu, who looks solid. Did she beat Halep today?
Actually, Halep prevailed in the third set. I wrote that down. We'll talk about that. That was a good match. I know I always say
it's a round robin style.
Round robin format, like the ATP men's final.
Yeah, I think Osaka just beat Kvitova. So I think it's going to be a tough year because a lot of women are hungry. And I think Sabalenka, if she doesn't have more variety in her game, it's not happening for her.
All right, so call me out on that one. Comment below. And again, I'm stuck here literally for months. So I look forward to these conversations and debating some of them. And
he'll do most of the answering this time.
Yeah, again, because usually, I'm usually coaching. In a sense, Carla is now 100% coaching, and I got to give you much love for that. She's coached all my lessons and hers basically at the same time. Done everything with the kids, cooking, cleaning, taking me to the shower, restroom, the whole bit. So much love there. But what are your thoughts? Can Sabalenka win a major before Osaka wins her next one? Number one. But number two, the end of the year, I always say, is not that important for the most elite players in the world. But the end of the year is important for players like Sabalenka or Zverev or Thiem. Confidence builders, right?
Definitely
pushing forward. So this is an important time of the year for Sabalenka as we approach the Australian Open, which is knocking on the door. So question to you, Carla, and to all of you. What does Sabalenka need to do to accomplish this, if my theory is true? What does she need to do to win a major?
Again, she needs variety in her game. It's not just a forehand, and it's just not hitting the ball hard. You need to be a smart player. You need to think. That's what makes a champion. Champions think out there. They can be down 5-1 and come back and win a match, turn everything around. And I don't think Sabalenka is ready for that.
That's a good point. I'm with you on that one. My first thought was I think she needs to channel positive energy. I see Sabalenka play, and I see her get down on herself, just like Carla just indicated. You know, a champion can get down 1-5 and come back and win the set. Sabalenka tends to get down 5-1, just keeps spraying balls all over the court, and goes and sits down and loses the set 6-1.
Instead of thinking, hey, maybe I need to get another ball over, maybe I need to use a different strategy. I just don't see that. Maybe it'll happen, but I don't see it right now.
The coach. I think she is still with Tursunov. I think so.
I'm not sure.
But when I watch those two interact, I see.
I thought they broke up again.
I may be wrong there. I think she kind of called them back after the U.S. Open or whatever that kind of weird deal was with her and her coach. But when I see them interact as people, I see like a problematic relationship if I was looking at a boyfriend and a girlfriend, much less coach and player. Right. So I get a weird energy from that. So I question the coach, not at his ability to coach, but what is the true relationship there? If it's a love-type relationship, then you might want to separate from that, because love involves a lot of rocky roads, and you have to work at it as a team. And if you're trying to work positive as a tennis coach and you have a kind of a double relationship, it's kind of a weird energy there. Number one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I will give an example. I don't think I would want you as my coach.
Well, no one would, because
I don't think you want the person you're involved with as a coach, because sometimes you might just snap and say,
snap back.
Yeah, I don't think I would want that.
Agreed. Coach energy, I think, is important. Finding positive energy and channeling that positive energy is important. Like me with the leg, I can sit here and I can be super down knowing that I can't move for anytime soon, still awaiting surgery. But if I got negative, then how much worse would that make it? So I don't see that the coach is super positive for her. If she's not with Tursunov, let me know. 2, consistency. She has one tool in her toolbox for the most part. She has a big forehand. She cranks on that big forehand. Azarenka did the same game and did very well at it, but she was, I think, more consistent at doing so. I think she needs to add consistency by adding variety to her game.
And Azarenka was a fighter. She had more tools. She had a backhand. She could slice. She can come to the net. And she was a fighter. That's the difference.
Yeah. If there's an old saying that I like to say, if you want to win a tennis match or if you want to be successful in life or anything, have more than one tool in your toolbox. I think that Sabalenka has only basically one tool and not a lot of variety. If she's missing a forehand wide, she keeps hitting it and eventually it just goes south. So she needs to add patience, consistency, variety, and also her power. I think she hits with too much of it. I think she should reduce power on a lot of her shots and find the level of power that she can control consistently. I think she hits really hard and kind of misses the target a lot. And instead of kind of trying to ease off a little bit and work on placement and working the point, she just keeps blistering the ball. So I think she needs to find the level of power that will suit her game, that she can hit in the court and on target consistently. So I think a coach can help her do that. All right, what are your thoughts on that? Can you check the time on the bottom of the phone? All the kids are in school and I can't get up.
21.
All right, topic that I had real quickly, and this involves women's tennis as well. Is the upcoming 2020 WTA season going to be dominated by only Serena Williams, Bianca Andreescu?
Serena's playing?
In 2020?
Oh, you think that she'll play the finals? Gotcha.
No, I'm talking about next year.
Okay, gotcha.
So beginning with the Australian Open in 2020, it's still 2019.
Okay.
Let me repeat that. Is the upcoming 2020 season, starting with the Australian Open or Brisbane or whatever, just before New Zealand, I think, Auckland or something, is the 2020 season for the women going to basically be dominated with Andreescu, Naomi Osaka, and Serena Williams, and maybe throw in there a Barty or Bencic, and kind of everyone else on the outside looking in? Or could it just be Andreescu and Osaka? Could those two especially?
No, I think we'll have different champions. No, I don't think it'll be that dominant. The women, it's always up and down. If Halep could beat Andreescu, then many things could happen.
Personally, I think next year will be dominated by 2 or 3 players. I think that Andreescu, he's cool. What's up, little man? So this is little Justin Jr. This is our 5th and youngest child. He's our 4-year-old son, a good tennis player too in his own right, doing big things out there. So I think that this women's season will be dominated, in my opinion, by namely Naomi Osaka and Bianca Andreescu. Yes, I know Halep beat Andreescu today. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I think that Serena will be in trouble this year, maybe some smaller tournaments. I don't think Serena will win another major.
I don't think that we'll ever see the dominance that Graf, Serena, Navratilova, Evert, we won't see that. Celis, we will never see that dominance.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Who was the last pair?
Venus was dominant.
No, a last pair. When was the last time they went women's tennis where there was always 2 women that would make the final? Was it Graf and Navratilova?
And then we saw Serena and Venus all the time.
All the time. I think you are going to see that with Andreescu and Osaka.
I don't think so. No.
I think so. So here's a question for all of you. Am I right or wrong that I think tennis next year will be dominated by Andreescu and Osaka, and the only other people, in my opinion, that have a shot outside of those people would be Bencic, Barty. You can throw Serena.
Bencic just doesn't have the firepower.
Well, she was injured for a while, and she's had a strong finish. She's in the finals.
She kind of fades away. I don't think so. People will figure out their games. Andreescu's just been playing on the tour for a little while. People will figure out her game.
So what we should do is we should make him say hello and move the phone from him. So
just continue.
He's good to go?
Yes.
All right. So, again, don't call me crazy, but, again, I've been around this game my entire life, and I can't remember a time in women's tennis that I can be more positive that we'll have another kind of 1-2 setup where they're going to meet each other for a long time in the future.
It didn't happen last year, so why would it happen this year?
No.
I mean, it happened this year.
Well, Andreescu didn't come into it until later in the year.
I think we'll see again the same thing with the men. 1, 2, and 3. I don't think we'll see that with women.
We'll see. I don't care about the rankings. 1, 2.
No, I'm talking about I wasn't talking about rankings. I think in men we'll see Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer dominate again.
We know that.
But in the women, I don't think they're that dominant yet.
Let me again. Forget about the 1, 2, 3.
I'm not talking about
the
rankings.
I'm just saying, as long as they're on opposite sides of the draw, they're going to be in the finals.
No, I disagree.
I don't think so.
Disagree.
All right. So your thoughts on that? Do you think it's going to be another category year of women, or are you leaning towards what I'm saying? Andreescu and Osaka, as long as they're on other sides of the draw, you can count on them being in the final. Thoughts on that? By the way, if you had to pick one person out of that entire group that was going to win definitely one major, if not 2 or more, who would it be?
I'll go with Osaka.
I'm gonna go with Andreescu, and I used to hate on Andreescu a lot because of her fitness.
It's a toss-up.
Her medical timeouts.
It's all a toss-up for me.
Yeah, I think Andreescu is here as long as she can stay healthy and fit, and then that's it. All right. Next topic. Again, talk about that below, and I'll respond as quickly as I can. This is going to be a quick topic. The Paris Open. This is the topic. The Paris Open as it relates to Novak Djokovic. Okay? How much energy is Novak Djokovic really willing to expend during this Paris Open, especially with the ATP Finals and Australian Open knocking on the door? Okay? Real quickly, my thoughts. I think Novak Djokovic could very well win the Paris Open and very well may. Okay? However, I don't think it's a priority of his. Nor do I really think the ATP Finals is a priority of his. And that same goes for Federer, who just pulled out of Paris, by the way, and as well as Rafael Nadal. I don't think it's a priority for any of them, but I truly don't think it's a priority for Novak Djokovic. I do know that the Australian Open is. He's won 7 of them already. Not 8, he's won 7. I may have that off, but I think it's 7.
Okay.
I know he is right now the best player on tour. I know he wants to have some of these long records. I think Federer has 8 Wimbledons. Nadal has 12 French Opens. Federer has 10 Basels and 10 Hows. I think Djokovic wants to get up in this double-digit list in a hurry. You know, players won 10 of something. He can do that at the Australian, and I think he'll win it this year. So I think right now, the body is everything for Djokovic. I will be pulling really hard for Djokovic this year in 2020 because I would like him to get closer to 20 majors so we can make this kind of a really kind of come down to the wire competition between the 3 arguably best players of all time.
Well, unfortunately for Federer, he's older, so the other 2 guys have a better chance.
I agree totally. So Djokovic has 16 majors now. He would love nothing more than grabbing.
That's gonna be tough.
He would love nothing more than
tough.
grabbing his 17th major in January at the Australian Open, right?
That'll be tough.
So let me ask everyone a question. Carla, what are your thoughts? Do you think that the Paris Open is a top priority for Djokovic?
No, I don't think it's a top priority for any of the guys. I mean, someone sent me a video. Several of you guys sent me a video of Djokovic and Nadal hitting balls together. Obviously, it's not that serious.
Exhibitionist type media.
They're just there because they have to be there. You know, it's a 1,000, and they're both fighting, I guess, for the #1 ranking or whatever. I don't think it's that important.
I don't either. A forecast for next year.
If one of them were to lose early, I'd be like, big deal.
Yeah, and even at the ATP Finals, the same thing.
Big deal.
We have to understand that the major in January, which is knocking on the doors, it's hugely important. These athletes have been playing since then. This year, they need a break. They know that. Their teams know that. Look at my leg. I didn't take a break, and what happened? So. I can assure you, though, I consider Djokovic a shoo-in for the win in Australia. That's my prediction, and I hope it does happen as long as he stays healthy. I know he's had some injury issues, some minor stuff, thank goodness, and as long as he stays mentally healthy off the court. All right, real quick, Roger Federer pulled out of Paris. We discussed this already. Not shocked by that. Okay?
No.
I think that Federer will start winding down his season and pretty much already has, in my opinion.
Sure.
And we'll see.
Isn't he concentrating on the Olympics, too, that's coming up?
Well, the Olympics is next summer.
2020, right?
Yeah, so it's still
well,
like 8,
I'm sure
9
that he'll
months
play Wimbledon, he'll play the Australian, he'll probably play the French again, so
Yeah.
he'll be picky with his tournaments.
So no shocker there. Lastly, I watched the Bianca Andreescu Halep match today. The entire match.
I love the pink outfit, by the way. I'm
Yeah,
not
they-
used to seeing Andreescu in the pink outfit. At first, I didn't quite think it fit her because she's not super girly, but then I got used to it.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Yeah.
You look good in that dress too. It was a pretty dress. So I watched this match, and here I am again finding myself hypocritical in a sense about matches at the end of the year just don't pack that much punch.
I think it was good for Halep to win.
It was a really good match all across the board. Andreescu took the first set, and it was a tight first set. I think it was 6-4. Second set, Halep found a way to win the second set, and here we go into the third, and Halep took it in a third set. Andreescu's body language, though, did change after losing the second set, so I was kind of feeling like a hypocrite about end-of-the-year matches until the third set started. Andreescu looked like she just wanted to get off the court. She still put up a fight,
probably tired.
But her body language definitely showed that maybe she just, she had enough, and maybe she's looking forward to putting a cap on her season as well. And I mean, gee, she just won the Australian Open, the U.S. Open, and we now have the Australian Open knocking on the door. Do you think, Carla, do you all think that Andreescu is one of the top favorites, if not the majority favorite to win the Australian Open?
She's in the top favorite. There's a lot of people that are the top favorite. Her, Osaka, Barty has a great chance to do something.
Unless we not forget that Barty's home turf is Australia.
Yeah, it'd be good for her to win Australian Open.
So that's an interesting theory. I don't see that Serena Williams will win there.
But doesn't Serena win a lot in the Australian Open? Isn't that like one of the biggest?
She wins a lot everywhere.
She might have a good chance. We haven't seen her. She's
you can
resting.
look it up right there, but
yeah.
The match today was great. It's good to see Halep back with Cahill. I do think that if this match was at the U.S. Open or if this match was at the Australian Open, I do see Andreescu putting up a better fight in the third set. Okay, I don't think it was 100%.
Sure, we would have
after
seen
the
something
third
else
set.
in a Grand Slam, of course.
All right, so that's it. We will, again, continue to try to figure out our setup for shows. Again, I can't sit in a high chair because I can't keep my leg straight. I can't bend it. It's totally immobilized. So, again, I only hope that this is audible, and we'll kind of use this as kind of a practice show and see where we go from here. But I'll be here. So comment with me if you want. Carla will be around. She does have to go back out and teach some more of our lessons later. But thanks so much to all of you, and we will definitely keep pushing forward with the show. This one was a little one side prepared. I know Carla wasn't able to, but we'll keep them coming, and I think we can change our status of saying that we don't do a lot of the end of the year shows to we're going to do a lot of them simply to keep me out of the negativity realm. So you guys keep me positive, so thanks so much for that. You mean a lot to me for sure. Much love to everyone out there that's contributed, and from this point forward, we'll see you a lot more. Hey, Justin, what is that over there, buddy?
All right.
All right.
Adios.
See you later, guys. Justin, say bye-bye. I'll give you the phone, but say bye-bye. Say bye-bye to the camera.
He doesn't want to.
All right.